So, well, my friends, repeat, repeat, repeat from the last trainings to get to the goal to 20 pull-ups in a row, without a break, without rest, you know. And today I will choose the dip belt. I will make one repetition with a 20 kilo kettlebell. This is this one. And then I make with 10 kilo repetitions, then I make one ABC. Like the last time, I will progress, you know what I told you. I use the same system now to come back to the higher numbers of repetitions. And then one day we will make the 20 pull-ups. So I have warmed up and now let's get into it. So here we have the 20 kilo kettlebell. This will go away. Here I have my dip belt, but I will use a towel because of the grip, the handle, so it is called, the handle, you know, because you can damage it, you know, that is not good. So I always use it. One repetition we will see. I'm not a big fan of lifting the heavy weights, you know, or heavy, to me it is heavy, for others maybe not, but the extra weight too much I'm never that big fan of, you know, but it depends. All I love it, all I hate it, so yeah. That is always a little bit tricky with that, but you know, a little bit it is safer, because I don't want to damage my kettlebell, you know. It's an indoor kettlebell, it's not an outdoor kettlebell. So we will check the weight. Yeah, that is much weight. I don't know if I can do it. Here I will make this. Oh, you see, that is heavy. But I go by feeling, you know. I have no idea. Wait, the t-shirt gets damaged, so I have a bit space. Yeah, so we will check it out. So, you see I'm over. Yeah, bam, and controlled. 20 kilo, you have seen it? So you see the progress, the strength is there. You know, and that was not that heavy, you know, I could lift much more weight, you have seen it. Of course, I didn't want to crush into my thing because a lot of weight, but you have seen it, I can hold it and easily go down. And there you see the progression, what we made, that we got much, much more stronger, you know. I tell you before, even with 6 kilo it would be tough, you know. But now 20 kilo, you know, that is a lot of weight, you know, for most people. And so the progression is there. I only wanted to test it out, and there you have seen it now. And you can watch it here. 20 kilo, you see it? And here I have done it one time with a 32 kilo. That was more than half of my body weight, you know. I weighed in 62 kilo, and so that was more. But that gets a lot of stress, you know, so that I don't want. But that was good. Now with 10 kilo, I will make as many as possible, because we use 6 kilo, now I make it with 10 kilo. That I did always back in the days here on. There I had the training board, the blue one, I show you that. Here, that board, you see that? With the windows there. Exactly, that windows, and here it was. There I made it always with the 10 kilo waist, you know. And yeah, that we do now. So my friends, now here I would have the 10 kilo waist, you know. I have told the story, but I hate it so much, you know, because you have to enter in. There is one space and do. I cannot slip in like in a jacket. You have to overcome this, and that is so stupid, you know. Especially with long hair and the neck and 5 kilo crushes to the head. I hate this, you know. I tell you that I hated it 15 years ago, I hate it still today, so I will choose the other version. This vest, which I used the last time. You know, here that is much more comfortable. You come in like this, you know. That is the way, not overhead, but you have to watch out, and you know, that is all stupid. But as I told once again, for the pull-ups, no problem with that. But when you run, make hard exercises, this is wobbling. And now, we have 5 kilo, but we need another 5 kilo, and there I have my backpack. The easiest, most comfortable way, or the easiest and cheapest way, because everyone has a backpack at home, from school, whatever, from 3 times board and put in some weights, water bottles, and holiday sand bottles, you know. Or I have the weight here, wait. So, here I have a 3 kilo dumbbell, we put it in, like this. And here I have 1 kilo, the shadow boxing weights, you know. They bam, 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 bam. 1 and 1 kilo. So, we have 5 kilo in the backpack and 5 kilo on here. And that is the much better way to do. Of course, the balance is not the best, you know, but it is much more comfortable than to come in, you know. And now, normal pull-ups, we will see 10 kilo. Oh, heavy. Bam. You know, here you feel the weight in the, it feels different, you know. But I make less repetitions with when you have the weight in front here from the other chest, you know, 5 kilo here, 5 here. That is much more easier than in that version, you know, because the weight is all. So when you make deadlifting or such things, you also see when you have the bar in front of you or very close, what difference this is, you know. Also how long your legs are, you know, when people can go down straight with the back by squats, you know, or when you have long things and the back goes forward, you know, makes a huge difference. But that was good. Now I make an ABC on the training spot, and then we make as many without weights. So now a little bit rest, you know, always a little bit longer. And then here, the white as last time, 1 ABC, you know, because I told you I make now the same progression and the same system like at the final, you know, where how it is called, I do all systems at once now, ABC with weight, you know, and to come back in the third set, the highest number what I can do. And that, the strength what we gained, the volume and on and on and on. Now we have seen with 20 kilo the strength is there. And now we come back to the numbers, you know, that the body can make a lot of numbers, you know, because there we have to come in. So a little rest and then 1 ABC. And today with the extra weight, that was only that you see that did it work or not, you know. And it's a little bit a new resistance, you know, for the body. And yeah. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I made an extra pull-up, you know. And now, a little rest, and then we make as many in that position. Yeah, and also for your mind, you know, like with the 20 kilo kettlebell, now the pull-up, that makes you happy, you know, when you have always, when you see a progression. Because now when you make only the same thing, it's good, but here this only one repetition where you see, wow, that I couldn't do 5 trainings before, you know, now I can do it. And so that also gives you a mental part, you know. So, and now as many as possible, but of course I will not go too much, because 20 kilo, 10 kilo was not used to that, you know, and so now the ABC, but yeah, we will see. Enough. I would go one another, or maybe 2, 1 for sure, but the feeling today says no, not too much, you know, because the last one who doesn't work perfect is not most of the times the best, you know. So it should get heavy, but not most of the times this is too much, you know, for the safety. And I have to drive 5 hours bicycle a day and carry my bag, so this is also in my mind, you know. If I would have free today and tomorrow, you can do it, but to me, the better version is the absolute last pull away. Today, my feeling, because I have to do 5 hours more sport today. And now, the push-ups. Yeah, most important, it has to make fun, you know, what you do, that you don't overpower, don't underpower, exactly in that moment what you need. But of course, it has to be difficult when you only make, if I would make now 3 repetitions and then I go here, then that would be not enough, then you don't get better. You have to go to the, almost maximum best way, but everyone is other, you know. As I told you, other needs 3 sets, 4 sets, 5 sets, others 1. But that system works out, you know, 2 times a week. It makes fun, you know. And now we will see. It's enough, you know. Because I go down completely, you see it, nose to the ground. Here I touch the floor, you know, not hanging in but touching it. I once did a weight bar here, how it is called, where you measure the weight, you know. And when I weigh in 60 kilo, you have around 50 kilo what you make by 1 repetition, you know. So of course, also a lot of thing, you know. And I told you I go down also by tension, and not falling down and pressing up, falling down. That is a huge difference, you know. And every centimeter where you go completely down and up and down makes a huge difference, you know. Also the angle. When I made it so, 50 push-ups were easy, you know, or 100 as a kid. But, you know, I say always, where do you start from? Because people have so different strength levels and endurance levels, you know. There are people who can do push-ups, you know, when they don't know it, they make it like this, you know. Not like this and completely down, but this, and they make 30 push-ups and have never trained. They train not 1 time a year, but they can do 30, you know. And then there are other people, like me. I am very thin, there are no muscles, you know. Of course, you have there are people who are thin who also have a lot of strength from the nervous system, because you have 2 options. The nervous system prepares you, you know, or the muscle grow. Both together, best option. But for me, for example, I started by 4 push-ups. So I am from the scale by the complete lowest. With the lowest strength level where I started it, you know, 5. When I train nothing a year, I can only do 4 push-ups, you know, and 0 pull-ups. I started it by 0. I was hanging on, I could not make 1 centimeter. And that you have to watch. When you start by 30 push-ups and you say you never train for that, and then you tell me after 5 months you can do 40 push-ups. I mean, from 30 to 40, that is not much, you know. But when someone is there who makes it from 5 push-ups to 30 push-ups, you know the difference. That is a huge thing, you know. And there you always have to watch out for your own body. Where do you start? The age, the age is not that problem, you know. Most of the time it is the problem when people are older, because they have pain there and there and there, and that is the limiting factor. More important is the body weight, you know. When the people are fat, and have so much weight, and those body weight exercises get too difficult, you know. But so always go by your own body. And also nowadays, you know, when you take creatine, I have never done it, but what I see, what I hear, and by my eyes, what I see, when people take this and train, how much they have gains, you know. But to me, you know, this is like illegal doping, because you prove your strength level with taking something, you know. And like me, when I don't take those things, I have a disadvantage against normal people who take this. Then you can say, yeah, it is legal. Of course it is legal, but you know, I take no protein powder, I have no money. But when I took it after the training, you feel the progression is much more there, much quicker. But when you take also creatine, which nowadays everyone does, you know, I have heard of that in the late 90s, but there you saw, that was more like in bodybuilding, but not for the public, you know. Should you do it? No, the risks, you don't know. Now it is a proved thing, but my concerns were always, I don't want to look like a bully, you know. As I told you, when you are skinny, then it is better to have a ripped body and be skinny than to gain mass. When I gain 5 kilo mass, I would look like a nobody, because there are 1 million other people who have a lot more mass than me. But my special thing for skinny people is to get ripped, you know. There we have an advantage, because the bullies will never look ripped like a Bruce Lee, you know. But you know what I mean, if you would take all those supplements, you have an advantage. You can do more push-ups, more pull-ups, and on and on and on. So I think that is not fair when someone says, I don't take it, and the other takes it and have quicker advantages, you know. So there I also make a different, you know. I don't say it is bad also, but I don't do it, and I cannot compare it to people who take this, because then if I would take it, I would also have much more success, you know what I mean. So now push press, that we have 2 push exercises is enough, because then I have to drive 4 more hours bicycle and lift the heavy bag and go stairs upwards and downwards. And in the last, I don't know, 60 days, I did it 58 days. 2 days not, because the bicycle was damaged. So in 60 days, 58 days, I'm driving at least 4 to 5 hours bicycling and carry the bag, or 7 hours, you know. Then you know why I don't make too much here. And now push press, and then we have done it. And I will tell you other thing after that. You know, it's also good. A lot of trainings what we did now. So we took time, you know, to get to this, and not in 2 weeks and train hundreds of repetitions in 1 week, you know. No, we took the weeks that the body gets prepared for that. That's the safest way, you know. Watch out that we don't crush in. So, enough. I'm out. We see us next time. Bye. Boom. Ciao.